Okay, Madam Chair, we are live.
Very good. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Just before we begin, in case people, as you go on, you sign off, the general board meeting will be at the Knights of Columbus on 86th Street and 14th Avenue this coming Monday, May 16th at 7 p.m. And you're welcome to attend with us. All right, Josephine, what is the order? You have your slides prepared?
Okay, the first item on the agenda is a new SLA wine beer cider license at Pegasus Brooklyn Incorporated, doing business as Pegasus, 8610 3rd Avenue.
Okay. Just got it. What are you doing?
I'm sorry, here we go.
That's okay. All right, as Josephine said, this is a new application for wine, beer, and cider for Pegasus, located at 8610 3rd Avenue. This is a new application. The establishment was originally opened in 1993 and approved for the SLA license in 2016. As of this past January 2022, a new person now owns the restaurant. The owner is Paris. Help me with this. Is it Moisios?
It's Paris Moiseos and Maria Boyce, my partner. Yeah.
Is that Maria?
Maria, yes.
Maria Boyce, yeah.
Okay, great. The attorney is Donald Bernstein. Is he here?
No, he's not.
Okay. And I'll be pausing once in a while to just update my report, so I have it all ready to go. Okay, and that's for everyone. All right, from what I could see through your application, there is no certificate of occupancy for this building. There is a letter of no objection for 75 persons, and it is an expectation that there won't be more than 60 persons in at any one time. For the board, the questionnaire was complete. There was menu, premise photos were provided. There will be background recorded amplified music within the establishment. Now, you say there will be outdoor space used, and that's in front?
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
yes, just the sidewalk in the front.
Okay, now you have, from what I could see, there was 4 tables, 2 chairs. Should that be reversed? 4 chairs, 2 tables?
For the outdoor.
For the outside, yeah.
It's like 4 high tops with
With two to three chairs.
3-4 chairs each table. Yeah.
So you're talking about 4 tables with 2 or 3 chairs each.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you're more like 12 seating outside, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that was, you left out the 1 for the 12 chairs, and I saw 2 chairs, 4 tables, 12 chairs. Okay, so I didn't get that. Okay. The report said there will not be any promoters or private parties or security. So you are a new owner. What is your experience in restaurant operations?
So Paris, I used to work there the previous year, like before with the previous owners. So that's my experience.
Okay, so you were an employee that took over the establishment.
Yeah.
Okay. You have, and now the outdoor seating, is that going to be just during the COVID regulations, which I believe might end in December, or is that going to be a permanent practice?
As long as it's the COVID regulations and other stuff.
So until December, yeah.
Until December.
And we only do it in the summer, spring.
Yeah.
So we haven't even started yet.
Okay. And like I said, I'm just updating my report so it's correct. In summer and spring.
Yeah, just good weather only.
Yeah. All right. Any questions from the board? Anything you'd like to tell us?
Yeah, I have a, oh,
All right, Ruth, go ahead.
yeah, my question is the outside area going to be the same as the hours of operation, which we haven't heard yet, by
Yes.
the way. They haven't been read.
Oh, okay, so our hours, yeah, so it's gonna be the same hours as our indoor. So our hours are Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5:30, and then on Sundays, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Right.
So there are no nighttime hours.
No,
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 no.
or just breakfast and lunch.
Okay.
Anybody else from the board? I can't see Josephine. Sandy?
Barbara?
Yeah.
For Paris, how long have you, you said you took over the restaurant? How long ago was that?
How you mean?
We
Like since January.
since
weeks ago.
January, yeah, 22, like 4 months ago.
This January 2022?
So yes.
Okay.
Okay. And you understand that there is to be no liquor served until you have a license, correct?
Of course.
course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, if you stick on later on, you'll see that there's not so many, not everybody's of course.
No,
So I'm just making sure of that. Thank you so much.
I understand.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Okay, Paris, anything you want to add?
I'm not sure if I have any questions.
Okay, thank
No, we're just, excited
Bob-
to see what happens.
Yeah,
Barbara?
Barbara,
Maria
Sandy.
speaking. Maria, anything else?
Oh, no, I was just saying, we're very excited, we are new, so, we're excited to see this new adventure for the restaurant, proceed forward.
Mhm.
Okay. Sandy?
The restaurant now will still be used as it was before. Are there any changes you plan to make?
No, not at all, no changes whatsoever.
Because Pegasus is, I mean, I don't want to say we all know it, but I know it very well, and I just want to know if you're going to make any changes because Josephine, I doubt there's any adverse history. I don't know anything there. So it's going to be run as it was before, as a restaurant.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
As I'm saying, I used to work there. That's the only way I know to work. Like they taught me everything they knew. He was my uncle, so yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just going to ask everybody on right now to please mute yourself and be sure that, when you unmute, that you have any radio or TV in the background turned off. Thank you. Okay, I hear some chatter. Thank you. All right. So to Paris, what is normal for us is that we write our motion for the complete board in sort of like a reverse. So we say something to the effect of the committee's decision is to deny this application unless the owner agrees to the following stipulations. And many of the stipulations that we give are, of course, prepared, but they are built specifically to individual restaurants based on your application and prior history. So what I'm going to say is that the committee's decision is to move to deny application unless the owner agrees to the following stipulations. And of course, the board can add or take off the board any of the stipulations as I read. That the premise will operate as a restaurant. The owner will become familiar and follow the New York State Liquor Authority regulations. There will be no sale or consumption of alcohol on the premises until appropriate authorization is issued by the SLA. Bring your own booze is not permitted in New York State. The hours of operation will be 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Saturday. On Sunday, the hours will be 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. There will only be background recorded music, and the doors and windows are to remain closed when the music is playing, and the sound level will be monitored and remain below the level permitted by New York City Noise Code. There will be no music on the outside of the premise. That there will be 4 tables and 12 chairs during COVID relief for restaurants. The licensee should not use any promoter or have promoted events. There will be no smoking permitted. There will be no subletting. there will be at least a 20% visible view into the establishment at eye level, which means that you cannot cover all of your windows and doors so that, for safety reasons, we can, the police can see in. And the applicant agrees that should it change its method of operation, it will give notice and meet with the community board at least 45 days in advance of any such change. Do you agree to those stipulations?
Yes.
We agree, yeah.
Okay. Board members, I present that as a motion. Any discussion on that or second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I pulled up the motion, this is for board members only. So please, place your votes and we'll record them for the record. Again, for board members only. Okay, motion carries.
Okay, thank you. So Pegasus, if you'd like, you can leave, or you can just watch the friendly meetings. Either way, your choice. Thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
We really appreciate
Thank
it.
Take care.
Thank you. Have a great
Thank
night.
you.
Josephine, what is your next restaurant?
Okay,
Yeah.
so number 2 is a new SLA wine, beer, cider license at Petik Inc., doing business as I Kebab, Turkish restaurant at 8602 4th Avenue.
Okay, this is a new application. The establishment's owner is Aiden I. Is Aiden here?
No, I was a little bit unsure how to get in. He was gonna call in, so I don't know if you have any phone calls coming in, but that's basically it. I'm the attorney, Kathleen.
Oh,
Stokopoulos.
you're Kathleen? Is that Kathleen Stanthopoulos?
Let me
Yeah.
see if there's a number. I'm sorry, what was his name again?
It's
Aiden AI. A-Y.
A-Y, yeah.
AY. Okay, so I don't see him. I don't see a phone number on his attendee, so we could take it from here, Kat.
Okay,
Kathleen.
no
I'm
problem.
sorry.
I think I got it.
All right.
Okay.
I noticed that in the application, may I call you Kathleen?
Yes, absolutely, much easier.
Okay, the C of O is not clear at all,
Oh,
but they
Yeah.
have 74 persons written down.
yeah, no, well, the C of O is not, the C of O, did I not send it to you? You just can't read it, you're saying?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What was that?
I said, did I not send you the C of O, or you're just not able to read it?
I was ineligible.
Oh, okay, well, it says on the first floor, it's a restaurant, bar, and 3 stores, and it says that the total occupancy, live loads is 100, and the total occupancy is 50. So I wrote less than 74 because we won't need a PA permit, but in reality, the seating is only 24, 12 tables, 24 seats.
Okay. All right. The questionnaire was complete. The menu premise photos were provided. There will be background recorded music in the establishment. Now, I believe they took away the DJ. Is that correct?
There's no DJ, but they did want to have the ability to have
right.
one live performance once a month on a weekend,
Right,
and would be a 2-piece ensemble with a vocalist.
right. Got that. There will be outdoor space used in accordance with the COVID allowance until
Right.
December 2022. Where will this be?
Well, it's there already. It's on the side of 86th Street. I sent you the photographs of it. I don't know if you
Yeah,
have
the
it.
photo is up on screen.
Yeah, so yes, that's it. It's already there. That's the outdoor that will go away the end of December.
And that's on 86th Street side.
It's on 86th Street, right, going down towards 3rd Avenue, exactly.
Okay.
And that also has 12 tables and 24 seats inside of it.
All right, there will not be any promoters, private parties, or security. And the owner has had a business named OBA Grill in Forest Hills. Now, I noticed within this application,
Mhm.
within the past year and a half, there were several construction permit violations and a boiler inspection violation. Where do we stand in with that and maintaining the safety of our residents?
The boiler violation would go to the landlord, so I have to check with, that's the Pantelides brothers. I'd have to check with them on that.
Okay,
And I don't know, with the construction, I didn't see that, but were the construction violations or the permit violations to this particular store? Because it's also a residential building on top. and other stores.
I don't know. I know that it was within the file.
Yeah, okay.
Josephine?
I have to check on that, to be quite frank with you. I'm not aware of it, so I will check on it.
Okay. All right, any questions from the committee? All right, Kathleen, anything you want to say about this owner? I wish I would have been able to see him tonight.
Yeah, I wish you would too. No, not really. I mean, has owned this establishment for 4 years already. He's been there, so he's not new to the premise. He's just adding this now to try and help his business, promote business a bit. And that's really all I can tell you about. I think, I don't know if you're familiar with the business, but it's a very low key, quiet business. They mainly sell sandwiches and light foods and desserts and whatnot.
Okay. You know, I wish he would have been here, because a few days ago, I got a report that the notice of the public hearing, it was originally up and then they were taken down.
Oh,
And now he's not here. So now, of course, I get suspicious. Is there any reason why he would not want to meet with us?
no, honestly, he's not computer savvy. First of all, his understanding of English language is somewhat limited. So that was challenging in and of itself. But he says, I don't know Zoom. So then I tried to explain to him over the phone how to call in and put the webinar number in and that password. I could tell that he was overwhelmed.
All right.
But really, there's no reason for you. He's a lovely man, family man. I don't see any reason for you to be concerned about that.
Okay.
I can ask him to stop by the office sometime if you want to meet him. It's no problem.
It's not for Josephine, it's just for the committee, but that's okay. Okay, anything from the board, Sandy?
The two-piece ensemble that wants to play once a month, is that going to be, you can use any kind of speakers or anything that's going to require,
No, quiet music,
and that's always indoors, right?
always indoors. And as I said, at most once a month, it might be something that doesn't happen at all. But in most.
However, I think we usually have a stipulation that whenever there's music, we require that all doors and windows are closed. This way we try to not have music emanating out into the street or to the neighbors above.
Yeah, and I have no problem to that. And I will just add that there are no windows that open in this establishment. There's two doors, one on the side and one in the front, one on 4th Avenue and one on 86th Street. The one right now on 86th Street goes into that enclosed or that cafe right now. Once that's gone, then that will be to outside, but there's no windows that open.
Okay.
Okay, you ready? All right, and as you know, we write in the denial.
Right.
So the committee's decision was to move to deny this application unless the owner agrees to the following stipulations: that the premise will operate as a restaurant, the owner will become familiar with the New York State Liquor Authority regulations. There'll be no sale or consumption of alcohol on the premise until appropriate authorization is issued by the SLA. That bring your own booze is not permitted within New York State. The hours of operation will be 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. Friday and Saturday, the hours will be 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. There will be only background recorded music except for the live vocalist and two-piece band once per month on the weekend. The doors and windows are to remain closed, Sandy, while music is playing, and the sound level will be monitored and remain below the level permitted by New York City Noise Code. There will be no music on the outside of the premise. There will only be outdoor space used through December 2022 in accordance with the COVID allowance. The licensee shall not use any promoter or have promoted events. There will be no smoking permitted. There will be no subletting. There will be at least a 20% visible view into the establishment at eye level, which I think that store already has. And the applicant agrees that should it change its method of operation, it will give notice and meet with the community board at least 45 days in advance of any such change. So on behalf of the owner, would you agree to those stipulations?
Yes, so stipulated. Absolutely.
Okay. So do I have that in the form of a motion, ladies and gentlemen? Somebody? Okay, Ruth,
Ruth?
and have a second? Sandy, right. Josephine, the vote?
Yes, I am Launching it right now. Okay. Okay, board members, the motion and vote is up on the screen. Board members only. Okay. It is, motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, have a nice evening.
You too now.
Okay.
Okay, Barbara.
What's your next one, Josephine?
Next item is new SLA wine beer cider for Spicy Sichuan Restaurant, 7026 Third Avenue.
Yeah, we need to take down the vote. Can you? I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Do we have the owners here? No owner to Spicy? An attorney for Spicy?
I do not see. If you are on the attendee and are the applicant, if you could just raise your hand. Let's see, do we have the applicant's name, Barbara? Let's see.
It's Minghua Jing. Minghua Jiang.
Okay, nope, they are not here. So,
Okay,
all right.
all right. So I'm just going to go through with the report. I did notice that what is on the application and what is on the awning is spelled differently. Does that make a difference for us, or they could just change their application?
They could change their application because the doing business name and the sign name need to match as per state liquor authority regulations.
So it should say Spice, right?
Spice, yes.
Okay, all right. So this is a transfer application for a restaurant named Spice Sichuan. The former restaurant was Brooklyn Bay Seafood. It seems like it was just yesterday we were okaying that one.
Mhm.
There is no attorney listed, and please note that Minghua Zhang, Jiang, is not present this evening. There is a certificate of occupancy for 75. So what does that do, Josephine? Does that mean that there is a need for a
Public assembly permit, yes,
okay, so we should write that down within these stipulations?
yes.
Let me just do that. Okay, the questionnaire was complete. The menu premise photos were provided. There will only be background recorded music inside the establishment. There will be no DJ or live music. There will not be any outdoor use. There will not be any promoters, private parties, or security. On the application, the option where it says, did you receive and will you follow NYPD nightlife regulations? They were left blank while all other questions were answered. So that's a question I would like to ask the owner. Of why would they leave that blank? Sometimes they don't, I think they have to go and pick up the regulations. I don't know if that's part of the package,
Mhm.
but that was left blank.
Barbara, can I ask you a question?
Yep.
It seems to me that there's a lot of questions that we need answered, and the applicant's not here to answer them. You think we should maybe hold off, put this at the end of the agenda? Maybe they'll show up instead of going through it and then having the applicant come later on, and then we're going through it again.
I'm all right with that, Josephine, but they knew what time we were on, right?
Yep, they knew the time, and I mean, it's up to the committee. We have an obligation to respond and, within the 30 days. What we've done in the past, we've also done in the past, sometimes we've voted to deny until the applicant appears, or puts in writing that they'll delay until such time that they can appear. I mean, that's up to the committee.
Why don't we give them a chance? Why don't we give them a chance to see if they show up by the end of the meeting, and then we'll figure it out what we want to do at the end. If they don't show up.
That's fine with me.
Okay,
Second Sunday.
Okay,
very good.
all right.
Okay, next item on the agenda, moving along. is new SLA wine, beer, cider for Bocce, 8420, 8422, 24 3rd Avenue.
Okay,
Michael Kelly, representing the applicant.
Alessandro
Michael?
Borgignon.
Hi, how are you? Welcome.
Very well,
Andrew's the
thank you.
owner.
okay.
Oh, soon to be.
Correct.
Excuse me?
Soon to be, he said.
Okay. This is a new application for a restaurant named Bocce for the full liquor, wine, beer, and cider. It's 8420, 22, and 24. The questionnaire was complete. There was the menu, premise photos, floor plans were provided. There will be background recorded amplified music in the establishment. There will be private parties. You didn't, I see that it was private parties and promotional events together. Are you planning on having promotional events also?
No,
Okay.
No.
private parties would be like birthday parties, things like that, unions.
Okay,
No, nobody would be coming in, taking over the restaurant.
all right, let me just write this in. Okay, you state in the application there will be 74 persons, although there are 2 documents for a certificate of occupancy, both showing 100 persons for the first floor.
Yes, that would be very crowded. So the prior applicant also had 74 occupancy, and we were going to keep it that way. We have, it's a higher end restaurant. People are going to have more room to sit down and eat. So we're going to keep it under the 75.
All right, so Josephine, but they need a permit for public assembly because it's the certificate of occupancy is over.
If their seating in the restaurant is below 75, no. But if their seating is above 75, then yes. So, Michael, it often is in the past, that restaurant is very crowded. I mean, I haven't counted each individual seat, but if it is set up, we could stipulate that it has to be set up for less than 75 persons.
That's
And then
fine.
No public assembly permit would be required.
I'm just taking some notes. Okay. And is the owner here?
I am. I'm right here.
Okay, all right. Can you talk to us about your experience as a restaurant employee?
Absolutely. I guess my experience started when I was about 21. I created a little cupcake bake shop, which you guys have in 3rd Avenue. From little cupcake bake shop, I owned 17 Patricias, from downtown Brooklyn to New Jersey to Long Island, Staten Island. I have Sushi Nakazawa. There's 7 of them. I have one in London, one in Washington, D.C., one New York City, Aspen, Colorado, Miami. I own the other Bocce in Staten Island. I'm the creator of Chumley's, which is the oldest speakeasy in New York City on 86 Bedford Street. And I could say more, but is it necessary?
Okay.
He also was an owner at Positano.
I was the co-founder of Positano, and then I left.
Okay. The SLA website indicates that the Bocce license became inactive on
Correct.
April 11th. So what's happening with that? Are there extensions? Or what happens with that?
There's no extensions. I'm at this point in time, I'm not the owner yet. There's stipulations with myself and the landlord. There's contingencies of me basically taking it over if I get approved for the liquor license. In all honesty, so it's an open page here because honesty is always best. I guess the prior owner was problematic,
Very.
and I know him very well, and he's no longer there. So the business will be going forward with not him, with someone else that I would put in place when time comes.
So who's running this restaurant now? Who's responsible?
The person that's responsible is not me. It's still I guess it's the landlord and the general manager. It's just been left vacant, pretty much.
So why would the landlord be responsible for the running of the restaurant?
The landlord is responsible for allocating the lease to someone else that wants to take the space over. And the gentleman that was there prior just walked away from the space.
Okay.
So in order for me to make this deal, I have to clear up. So there's a total honest picture. There's debt, bills, and so on, which I'm willing to pay because I believe it could be profitable and it's a great restaurant. And it's a great corner.
Probably because of the extensive amount of fines they received. But I'm going
That's
to
a
tell you,
possibility, but
I was there on Sunday.
I wouldn't know.
I walked in on Sunday. I walked through pretending I was looking for a friend.
Mm.
And they are selling alcohol. And as you know, that cannot happen. And I'm
Of
sure,
course.
you know, I mean, what do I say with this? Alcohol
Well-
is being sold. The waiter asked me, "Hi, how can I help you?" And he was carrying a tray with a glass of wine and a beer. Shots are going out on trays. I call them the street hut. I mean, this should have stopped a month ago.
I can't answer that for you because it's not me that's doing it. I can only give you an answer if I was the owner.
So Josephine, what do we do? Do we call the liquor authority and have them shut the place down?
Right, so yes, we can notify the liquor authority and also the 68th precinct. I know that Police Officer Gandor is on the phone, is on the call. I see him here listed, so Officer Gandor, you know, we, are you
Hello,
here?
everyone.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I
Okay.
did hear that. Yeah, I mean, this is the first time this was brought to my attention. I only heard that I thought there was new owners. It's also news to me that it's still in that process. So of course we're going to address that. If you follow witnessed the sale of alcohol, we definitely reach out to the NCOs because they've worked with the SLA I guess they filed a complaint and then we do the inspection together. So we're definitely going to address that.
I find it hard to hear him. Josephine, can you translate?
Yeah,
that for me?
so basically said, Officer Gandor said they will address it. So we'll speak tomorrow. I will contact the State Liquor Authority and we'll forward that information to the 68th precinct.
Okay.
Um,
All
And
right.
we would also talk to the landlord about this because this would be jeopardizing our license if we go forward.
I'm unmuted now.
Sandy?
Can I ask, Josephine, when you put up the pictures, are these new pictures or are they old pictures?
No, these, the ones I have, I'll go to the screen, Sandy. So there's a new outdoor dining shed.
Yeah.
That was recently constructed, I would say within the last few months, that's completely enclosed. I didn't have a photo of it, on this slide. This is an older slide. But, I did, after the public notice, we did get calls from residents. I know there were some in the attendee list tonight. I don't know if they're going to want to comment, but there are speakers that were affixed to the inside of the outdoor establishment. I couldn't share the video clip that was forwarded to me because of my laptop file, but it's completely enclosed. You know, it's a sturdier structure, outdoor dining structure than the one that you see in this picture. I'm sorry, I don't have a photo of it.
Right, it has the plexiglass around.
Has
it.
Are they allowed to have enclosed outdoor structures in the street?
Not
no.
supposed to be.
Well, yeah, I mean, as we know that many of the outdoor dining structures are not compliant, probably 90% in the district are not. And the one that's up there, you know, is not according to the current guidelines
But they have speakers inside this outdoor structure.
Yes,
And we know we have quite a bit of adverse history at this location for noise.
right.
So that's gonna just add to the noise level that is gonna bother everybody in the neighborhood.
Yeah, so I'll just quickly go over the adverse history. So this board in June had voted against a renewal application because of the noise, you know, complaints, over 260 within the renewal period at that time. We also had Vision Zero related complaints relating to the outdoor dining structures with continued blocking of the crosswalks on both sides, both on the avenue and the side street. We also looked at video clips of fireworks, et cetera. And then we all remember that meeting. This is not the applicant before us, but, you know, it was the prior owner. So in terms of noise complaints, there have been 169 noise complaints. that were filed from January 21 to the present. But I think important to note that from August 21 to the present, following the June meeting, there have been 13 noise complaints, so a considerable reduction in the noise complaints. We had 4 complaints to CB10 in response to a new public notice, specifically all about the outdoor dining speakers, and also mentioning continued complaints about the blocking of the pedestrian ramps. You know, that's what we have now. So the noise has improved considerably, with the exception of the new speaker, Sandy, on the inside.
Yeah, Josephine, I don't know. I find myself a bit conflicted here because I don't know how we can proceed. We have an owner who is still running the business, who's not the applicant before us tonight, and he's evidently doing things wrong in serving liquor without a license. This gentleman tonight is the applicant, has no responsibility for that, nor does he have responsibility for the noise complaints at this point because he's not the owner yet. So I don't know how to proceed on this case, whether we should wait until this gentleman, the applicant, either becomes the owner and then we can speak to him about stipulations, or it seems that we're dealing with 2 different things here.
Right. No, I understand what you're saying, Sandy, but I mean, this is a new applicant, you know, not attached to this, as we would any new applicant that comes before the board. You know, adverse history does travel with it. I understand what you're saying, but he is a new applicant, and I'm sure he has a contingent in his lease agreement that he's not going to take possession unless he gets the liquor license. So,
well, I just don't want to hold this new applicant responsible for
Right.
the past and the bad behavior of the past.
And Sandy, I definitely understand that, and I'm sorry for interrupting you. And I can understand all the concerns that you have. I think past history on all my liquor license could show you what I'm about. I don't plan on, and I definitely understand that speakers outside. Once again, my stipulations and my contingencies with the landlord is I won't take over the place until I get approved for a liquor license. But what I can assure you is that I can have a conversation tomorrow morning with the landlord and ensure you that those speakers are gone.
Josephine, you know, of course, I have this, you know, this report prepared because in the application, it was that, you know, Alessandro is the owner. But in comparison to another restaurant we've done, I believe it is Sancho's. They could not apply for a liquor license because their name was not on the lease. So how do we apply for a liquor license when you're not the owner of the establishment?
well, there is a lease, right? I mean, in this case, it's just contingent upon getting a, right?
The lease is not affected. But I have a question. How many other places Michael has a liquor license?
Sorry?
How many other places, how many the restaurants that you own that you have a liquor license?
42.
In New York City alone?
No.
New York City alone, 27.
And as to the lease, we would be filing our application with a letter of intent to lease. And when the approval comes up, if it gets approved by the SLA, we would have to produce the lease.
Well, can you be transparent here? I mean, you have 27 licenses in New York City. And, you know, going back to what Sandy said, we cannot judge the past because, you know, you're new into the corner there. Was any problems in the past that you had with the license that you know of?
Of my licenses?
Yes.
In the past? So I was as transparent as I possibly could be, and I continue to be transparent with you. So at the end of the day, I don't have a violation with the SLA. I've never had a problem with the State Liquor Authority. My name is as clean as could be. I don't even have a speeding ticket or a parking ticket. I run a clean operation, and the operations that I do run are very, very different from the ones in Bay Ridge. And once again, I'm not looking to pat myself on the shoulder in any way. I own some of the most famous restaurants in America, and you should look at that, and you could put my name into the computer, and you'll see exactly what I'm about.
Well, I live around the corner from Boxy, so
Right.
you know, I'm here for more than 40 years in this corner.
I understand.
Okay, so I'm concerned.
Of course, and I want to alleviate your concerns with myself being the operator that I am. I own the bocce's in Staten Island due to certain things. There's not ever a problem in Staten Island. There's not one violation. And I think the only violation that could come up for the 99.9% of the restaurants during COVID about, you know, the SLA shutting down restaurants because they believed that there was multiple different violations, but that's 99.9%. There's not a restaurant in Bay Ridge that wasn't shut down by the SLA during the COVID. Not one. You can't give me one. From Cebu to Positano to Ponte Vecchio to the next door neighbors, everyone. So if that's considered a violation, then I'm guilty of one happening in Staten Island that they said that basically, Mike, what is it when everybody's together?
Social
Too close.
The social distancing wasn't correct. That's it. But besides that, and that's being totally transparent.
Okay. I have a question for your side structure, because you say you're going to be using outdoor space through the accordance with open restaurants for the COVID allowance. So in December 2022, if that
Gone.
ends, will the structures be gone?
That side structure will be gone now.
Yeah, because it's not being used. I mean,
No, it's not. It's
on top
not being
of the
used,
table.
and it's a waste of space, and it will be gone immediately.
And what about the one in front as of
Well, the
December?
one, from my understanding, the one in the front was built now. I'd like to utilize it, especially during the summertime, to
Okay.
generate some of the revenue back that I would be laying out at this point in time. I also plan to close down for about 2.5 months in order to redo a couple of things and freshen the restaurant up.
All right,
but-
but your application says it's with open restaurants in COVID.
So,
Yes.
Michael.
As of December, that may end. So will that front structure then be taken down?
If
That'll
it,
be
if
fine.
it ends, the
It'll be
structure
gone.
will be gone.
they'll be gone. If it's not allowed, it'll be gone.
And we would apply for a sidewalk cafe seating like the restaurant before us had,
Correct.
once they come out with the new rules.
Okay. I'm just, like I said, I'm writing.
No, no problem.
Okay.
You have a question, Jill, Board Member Jill Hajar?
Sure, Jill. Where are you, Jill?
I'm curious because there's Michael Kelly twice.
No,
I
the-
just,
the-
no,
that-
yeah,
that's
I
the
know.
attorney,
I just want to make
and
sure
the
that
owner
the
is
owner is
Alessandro.
Michael. Oh, what's the owner's name?
Alessandro, you're gonna
Morgan-
spell that for me. As an Italian, this is a good one.
I got it,
Borgognone.
Alessandra.
Borgognone.
Alessandra.
Yes.
Borgognone.
Borginari, say that again, B-O-R-B.
Bourguignon.
Borgognone. Alessandro.
The easiest way of doing this is beef bourguignon. That's it.
I got it, but under your name, it says Michael
Right,
Kelly, so I
right.
just want to make sure what your name is.
Right, Michael
Because
Kelly is the attorney.
I definitely will look you up, you know I
Please.
will. Thank you.
If you like sushi, fantastic.
All right. One of the problems we've had there, and it's going to continue to be a problem as long as that front structure is up, and even the side, is the double parking alongside of the structure, which makes that corner a tremendous hazard. Are you going to help us with that? To
I'll help
clear
you.
up that?
With that, I know at this point in time they have valet parking, but yeah, as you guys know, valet parking can be a little difficult at times. I think what's really going on is that there is not one single legitimate spot available on 3rd Avenue.
I know.
So
But parking outside of that structure, you God forbid somebody stops on the other side. I mean, I couldn't get through. We were just at a standstill.
I will do as best as I possibly can
Okay,
to alleviate that type of pressure.
okay.
Barbara, you have a question?
You find parking spots. If we built a parking lot, that would be great, but I'll do the best that I possibly can
I know.
to accommodate that.
I'm told I have a question. I don't see a hand raised.
Yeah, so there is a member of the public. If you finish with board member questions, you want to,
Yeah, I'll take them both. I don't care.
okay. So Peter, I will allow you to speak if you have a question.
Peter Pumpkin, hand raised. Speak, Peter.
Up, you're on, Peter. Can you unmute, Peter?
You also have to turn your audio on, Peter.
Let me try it this way because he has an older version. Peter? Peter, so you're in the meeting room now. You can unmute. He might be having trouble.
All right, anybody from the board would like to speak?
Lori Willis has her hand raised.
Hi,
Can
Lori.
you hear me?
Madam Chairperson.
Yellow.
Hi, how you doing? Oh,
All
wait, I
right,
think we
Peter
have Peter Pumpkin.
Oh,
All
Is
right.
that you, Peter?
This is Peter. Can you
Okay,
hear me?
go ahead, Peter. Go ahead. I'll
Gotcha.
wait.
So I just wanted to mention that I think everybody on the board is familiar with all of the noise problems we've had with Bocce. And I can appreciate that Mr. Kelly is saying that if he takes over, he's not going to continue this legacy of loud noise. So I think he needs to be, I don't know if you can order him, but I don't know what needs to be done, but he has to be made to take those speakers down immediately if he takes over this restaurant. And in fact, Bocce should be ordered to take them down right now as they violate the law. Josephine had mentioned that the outdoor dining shed on 3rd Avenue is enclosed, and it is primarily enclosed, but it does not have doors. So when those speakers go on, if they get loud, we're going to hear it. So it's not fully enclosed. It's mostly enclosed. But if the speakers get loud, we're going to hear it. In addition, Mr. Kelly said he's going to be hosting some kind of parties there. Well, the previous or current owner of Bocce held parties there and drove us all crazy. So I don't know why he wants to hold parties. And if you can actually hold a quiet party with tempered levels of music, if you can do that, wonderful. But you know,
That's what was about. I think when Mike Kelly basically said that we were hosting parties, they're basically parties of the occasion. If it's a wedding anniversary, if it's a birthday party, if it's a 50th birthday, and that's what type of party we're hosting. I'm not a DJ. I don't plan on making it a nightclub. I have no intentions of reliving the legacy that the old owner had left behind. Once again, I like a clean, running, quiet business, a dining room, not a club.
okay, so when you say you're going to be having parties, you mean social gatherings with low-level music? Is that what party means in your case?
Correct.
It remains to be seen. I'd love to see it. I hope you're honest and not like the previous owner, but we don't want to have to go through that again.
No, without a doubt. Just to be accommodating, what I'll do is I'll work some magic, have a conversation with the landlord and the people that are there now, and I'll ensure you that those speakers are removed by the end of the week.
Okay, and you, if you may, did you say that you also intend to remove the 85th Street dining shed?
That will come down if you'd like. What I'll do again, I'll work some more magic, and I'll have that down immediately for you.
That would be great, because the problems we've been having with Bocce is the noise. I know there were a few people who had parking issues, but most of us, I believe it was the loud noise, and that's why Bocce lost its liquor license a few times, and we would prefer not to have to go through that again.
Peter, and I appreciate that. I think it's safe to say that the ideology that I bring and what was there before, two different places, and I could assure you that I'd love to assure you, but let me show you instead of assuring you.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
we'd love to see it.
Okay, Lori, sorry, back to you.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask Mr. Bourguignon, you said that you will be operating your restaurant, or that you operate your restaurants, I don't want to put words in your mouth, very differently from restaurants in Bay Ridge. So what did you mean by that?
What I meant by that, no.
Are you operating them differently?
Don't take that. What it is I came from a
Oh, I don't own a restaurant in Bay Ridge. I'm not offended. I just want to know what you mean.
Before I got involved with with Bocce's and so on, and that's why I promote to look at it. I am the youngest recipient of 4 stars from the New York Times, which is rare. There's only 4 restaurants. All my restaurants have Michelin stars, which are super difficult to get. I am one of the youngest recipients of a James Beard Award. So I'm not accustomed to, every restaurant that I did open was at a very, very different level than Bocce's.
So why the interest then? You don't, I mean, I'm just curious.
No,
You can
no,
say,
no.
It's none of my business. I'm just curious.
And I'm more than happy to explain the interest. So Italian fare is very, very close to the heart. If you look at what I do, everything I've been doing lately in the last 10 years has been nothing but Italian. No, I do no Italian. I do Japanese, I do American. So I wanted to do something that brought me back to when I was growing up with my grandmother, or growing up in my, I'm Italian American first generation, and I love Italian food, and that's what I wanted to do. And I appreciate it. Once again, it's not my first restaurant in Bay Ridge, and I know the possibilities and the capabilities and how successful a restaurant or a business could be in Bay Ridge, because I am the co-founder of Little Cupcake Bake Shop with Luigi Labuglio. I started that. I opened up Positano. That was my first Bay Ridge restaurant. And now this would be my secondary Bay Ridge restaurant. But I do know the potentials of Bay Ridge, and I appreciate that. But they're very, very different from what I was accustomed to doing. Does that make sense to
you? Yes.
You don't look too sure, Joe.
Ish.
No.
That's my own inner workings of my brain. That's fine. I'm just.
All right, Alessandro, I have a question for you. Say you're going to close down for approximately 2 months to freshen up the place. Will you consider soundproofing? Because one of the problems we had there was the loud music, and the dishes in the apartments were shaking and dishes breaking.
That's actually, I'm a little familiar with that, because I had spoken to the landlord about it, and I understand one of the problems that they had. I don't think the speakers in the ceiling were insulated. Okay. But you did have a tenant that did complain, and I think we're all aware of that. And she used to pour water down on the floor, and that would go into the restaurant. Correct?
We saw the dishes shaking.
No, I mean, I have to say, we had about 15 complaints.
Yeah, I believe.
Many in the building, and
The woman was sitting on her bed.
families. Yeah.
And we were listening to the music
Across the
from her
street,
bedroom.
right? We had in the building, across the street. I mean, all of the residential units above and adjacent to were impacted.
Very loud across the street.
Very. It's
Well,
unbelievable.
what I'll do is, once I get in there, I know the speakers need to be replaced, and they created these new insulated speakers that basically barricade the sound from going anywhere but down, right? So with that being,
nice little teacup speakers.
deal done.
Okay.
I'll do it. Barbara, do it for you. Done. And then you can come back in and see for yourself.
I would love to go to Bocce's, but I can't, because I'm on this committee, because I know what the rules are. I can't go there. We can't go there.
See the new Bocce's I just built in Staten Island? What I did?
I used to pass by it.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm here now. So you guys get a good visual of how I run things, okay? Let me see if I can turn. So basically, this is one of the dining rooms, which is a party room. We call it an event room.
Which it also has rugs. I don't believe Bocce's has rugs.
No, this doesn't have the same floor. It's a tile floor.
Right. Okay.
Right. So I'll give you the whole lay of the land, so you get to know exactly. So this is the new rooftop at Bocce.
No, it's very nice. But when I walk into Bocce on Sunday, I mean, just with people talking, it's very loud, because there's nothing in that restaurant to absorb the sound.
What I'll do is I'll have someone come in, an acoustical engineer, to see exactly how much I could possibly do, considering that I'd like to deliver as much as I possibly can, as long as it's also financially feasible.
Of course. All right.
I don't want to yes you to death, and then all of a sudden you say, why didn't you do this when the acoustical engineer came in at $75,000?
Okay.
I'll do whatever I could do to make it better.
All right. So what's going to happen with the sale of alcohol right now, before we go into any votes and stipulations, Josephine?
What I'll end up doing, once I get a response from you guys, that will really make me go down there tomorrow. I'll go down there tomorrow. Make sure that everything is done.
Yeah, I went in just for that reason, and they are operating as a fully licensed SLA restaurant. All right.
Barbara, you have two more questions.
I understand how problematic this restaurant was in the past. I get it. I can understand the concerns. I can understand everybody's concerns. I really, really do.
Like fireworks, dancing,
And I just want to say too, there was always a restaurant at this corner. Ario preceded Bocce, and we did not have any of these issues or complaints. And Ario had communions and other parties, graduation parties, over the years. We had no adverse history, no noise complaints. So it was a very successful business on that corner for many, many years.
Thank you.
And frankly, the noise was just really intolerable and unnecessary.
Joseph,
Yeah.
As I said to you, I'll make sure, and I could guarantee you this. This is not even. I can guarantee you that the noise level in that restaurant, as far as the music that we play, not the people that are speaking, will be out here, all the way down here.
Okay. There's two more questions, Barbara. Ruth.
I don't see Ruth.
Oh,
Okay,
Hi,
Ruth.
Ruth.
Yes,
There
Ruth
it is.
has her hand.
There. Hi, Ruth.
hi. Yeah, so I just want to clarify. I know you have an awful lot of things to do tomorrow down at the restaurant.
But I'll make sure that we get done out of respect for you guys.
Yeah, but I thank you. Thank you. It's very mutual. We want you to succeed. And we want to have a good restaurant in the neighborhood. I just want to clarify that this means that the sale of alcohol is going to cease as of tomorrow. So
I
So
will,
this-
first thing tomorrow morning, I'll have a conversation with the landlord. I'll have a conversation with him. That's the primary person that I need to speak to. And I promise you that it will cease. If it's not tomorrow, it'll be done by the end of the week.
because as you know, we make a recommendation, but it has to, we have vote, we're going to be bringing it to the full board on Monday. So whatever we do tonight could be undone and changed by the full board.
Of course, I'm
So,
familiar.
yeah, okay. So, yeah, well, I for one, and I'm sure everyone else wants you to succeed and make it into a wonderful place.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay, Jill?
Yeah, just two statements and one question. First statement, I actually know the owner of the building. My husband was one of the original waiters at Ario. Never had a problem there, had all my communions and all my events there. It was a wonderful place. So I know that he wants to make this a success. Second, I'm not very happy with the way you depicted,
No,
Bay Ridge.
not at all.
No, wait,
I
don't
married a girl from
interrupt.
Bay Ridge.
Excuse me. Stay as humble as you say you are. That's what I want to say to you. And the third thing, the rooftop, that's new.
Where? In Staten
That
You
Island?
was
said you have a
restaurant.
rooftop?
That was a Staten
No,
Island
Staten
restaurant.
Island.
Oh, I
Staten
thought you meant in Bay
Island,
Ridge.
Oh my God.
going
Thank
up-
you.
I was like, what? How are you going to keep the noise level down there? Okay. Okay, so that's in Staten Island. So Ario always had an issue with noise level. I don't personally think, in my own opinion, to let everybody else know, you're probably not going to change that. You're going to have somebody come in, and I know that's not going to happen. It hasn't happened in 30 years. It's not going to happen. The acoustics is terrible in that place. So the people that live above there, the people that live across the street, even the people who are dining in there can't hear themselves speak. And I know that for a fact. So just be aware of that and be respectful of people who live there.
I promise you. I'll do the best that I can.
Okay, anybody else? All right, so to the board, I have several stipulations, which many of them have been adjusted as we sit here. So perhaps you will help me update that as we go along, okay? And as you heard before, Alessandro, we move to deny the application unless the owner agrees to the following stipulations. The premise will operate as a restaurant. Although the certificate of occupancy states for 100, the restaurant will not be set up for more than 74. The owner will adhere to New York State SLA regulations. There will be no sale or consumption of alcohol on the premises until appropriate authorization is issued by the SLA, and bring your own booze is not permitted in New York State. The hours of operation will be 7 days a week, Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Sundays, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. There will only be background recorded music with teacup speakers that are insulated. The doors and windows are to remain closed when the music is playing, and the sound level will be monitored and remain below the level permitted by the New York City Noise Code, with the construction, soundproofing, and acoustical engineers will come in to modify the sound absorption. The speakers on the outside of the premise will be removed immediately. No music shall be in the outdoor structure. As we know, the outdoor structure should not be totally enclosed. There will be only use of outdoor space through in accordance with open restaurants, and that's on 3rd Avenue only. The licensee shall not use any promoter or have promoted events. There will be no smoking permitted. There will be no subletting. There will be at least a 20% visible view into the establishment at eye level. And the applicant agrees that should it change its method of operation, it will give notice and meet with the community board 45 days in advance. Any discussion with that, board members?
Lori Willis has her hand raised.
Oh, I just have a quick question, Barbara, about the phraseology of the stipulation with regard to the public assembly permit. You said the restaurant shall not be set up for more than 75.
Even though the certificate of occupancy says 100. You tell me what to do.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't really know what do we mean by set up? Is that seats? Is that occupancy? Is my question. I don't know what this stip means.
Well, that's what they were talking about before, and Josephine had recommended that.
Yeah. Joe, what, I forgot what the,
Yeah, so if
Verbiage should be.
right, if the occupancy of there was more than 74 persons in the restaurant, they require a public assembly permit.
Yeah, but that includes the employees and the customers, or
Yeah.
just the
Everybody.
patrons?
yeah, so maybe rather than set up, we just say occupancy shall not exceed, right? Because then he doesn't have to get a public assembly permit and everybody's within the guidelines.
Okay.
He shall not exceed. Got it.
And one other thing, that no speakers, was it no speakers outside or was it no speakers in the shed? I forgot what you said.
Well, that is outside, right?
Sometimes, depending on where they
Alessandro,
decide to
you know
put the
what you mean?
speakers.
No speakers. I'll write it down. No speakers outside or in the.
No, I didn't know what the stip was. That's my question. Are they agreeing to have no music outside or no music in
I have written that
in the
as
shed?
in both places.
Just a question.
I wrote that in both places. Speakers outdoors will be removed and no music shall be in the outdoor structure.
Right, and just a point of information, amplified music is not permitted under New York City DOT Open Restaurants Program or in the Sidewalk Cafe. Music is not permitted outside, amplified music.
Okay. Sandy?
Barbara, I'm sorry if I don't know if I missed it, but do you want to put, are we going to put anything about removing the side shed?
She did.
Oh, she did say, I'm sorry.
Well, I said it would be only on 3rd Avenue.
Okay, so that, okay. Now, are we making this subject to the applicant obtaining ownership, or we don't want to touch that? I don't know, Lori, maybe you can advise us better on this.
You can sort of leave that to, we just give our recommendation, and whether or not he's going to have a lease or not will, like, the SLA will sort of be the goalie on that one. So if he doesn't have a lease, then they're not going to let him get his liquor license.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Oh, sorry.
Right? Are we ready for this to be moved as a motion?
You need a motion to
Ruth?
Oh, wait, can
propose
everyone
the,
mute?
That's Dr. Umawi.
Okay, I
He's
just
muted
muted
now.
him.
He's muted now. Got
Okay.
it. All right, so Ruth, were you seconding that motion? Ruth, were you making that a motion? I think she did. I've read her lips. Sandy, you want to
I'll
second
second.
that? Okay,
Okay, give me a moment and I will put up the poll. Okay, board members, the motion is up. Okay, motion carries.
okay. Thank you, Alessandro.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, and I appreciate your time. I really do.
Okay, so alcohol ends.
But do you think I could do a 16-piece band outside?
No.
I'm kidding around. I'm
Only
kidding
to let
around.
me sing.
I got you. Tomorrow, listen,
Okay.
tomorrow, the speakers will be gone. I'm going to try to get someone to pick up that tent for you. I got to find a guy to throw it all away, but it'll all be done by Monday. Done?
Okay.
Very good,
That's
thank you.
fine, because Josephine and I are going to be walking around out there. You know that,
I know you are.
because we have nothing to do at night.
I'm sure you have a guy. I'm sure you have a guy.
We know a guy. All right.
Thank you very much. And
Good
don't
luck.
forget, we have the full board meeting on
Monday.
Monday night. It's always a good idea to come because you just never know what can happen. Questions come up and you just want to be there in case, or have your
Oh,
representative.
Do I have to appear in person or is it a Zoom?
We are in person on Monday night, so you get to see all of us in person.
Well, if I
in the
can get a
flesh.
hug, okay, I'm good with a hug. Deal? All right,
We're
deal.
social distancing. I'm kidding. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye. Thank you, Michael.
Okay, take care. Next, Josephine.
Okay, so next item on the agenda is the SLA renewal of liquor, wine, beer, cider at Candela Restaurant doing business as Red Oak, 8305 Third Avenue in response to community complaints. So, so as the board knows, when we receive a 2-year, after 2 years, we receive renewals of our on-premise liquor licenses, and we take a look at adverse history. And we take a look to see if we've had any complaints. Since there were complaints on this establishment, we asked the owner to come in so we could speak with him, and they are here on Zoom tonight. So welcome.
All right, so the owner is Waleed Mina, and that's Waleed is here.
Yes.
guys.
And the attorney Majid Hana, is he here?
No, the
Not here.
lawyer is not with us.
Okay, so I have a picture of Red Oak, the front of Red Oak on this, so everyone knows where we're talking about, 8305 Third Avenue. So in the renewal period, we had 12 311 complaints regarding noise, and we had 8 smoking related complaints in the front and the rear of the property. I don't know if there are any board members that have any questions before.
Is this, there was mention of this being a hookah lounge. Is this true?
It is, yeah, hookah is being, are you licensed by the New York City Department of Health?
Yes.
Because I wasn't sure if you met those requirements because you're also, your method of operation is a restaurant. So, and hookah is not indicated on the method of operation on your notification to us.
No, we have a hookah restaurant and bar. Yes.
Do you have any paperwork with that, Josephine?
I don't have that. I mean, I could confirm that with the Department of Health. It's not on the notification.
The only thing that I noticed of why I say that is because in the prior stipulations, the board had asked for them to have smoke eaters.
Yeah, so in the prior stipulations, that was before the city council changed the law on hookah smoking. And what the law said was basically that if you had a hookah lounge, you were grandfathered in. But if your primary method of business was eating, restaurant, more than 50% of your receipts, then you would not be eligible to also serve hookah. So there was very strict requirements of who could apply for a license for hookah.
So
that's why I asked the question.
So which is it, guys? Can you provide us with paperwork saying that you are a legitimate hookah lounge?
You sure? Yeah, I want, would you like me to drop it off at the office, Josephine?
Oh, you could just send me, you could send me an email and
Oh,
maybe.
yeah, I can take a picture. I'll do that tonight. Okay.
Okay. All right, so this is a renewal. This was included in this file was only the 30-day notice. And now I know, Josephine, when people ask for renewals, they usually take pictures. They have the menu. The pictures were from, 6 years ago, very, very dark, was very hard for me to see anything in this application. So none of that was done for me. It was noted that there is no C of O for this building, although the prior application notes a certificate of occupancy for 75.
Right.
And I believe there was something in there about a letter of no objection. I saw the word denial written.
Yeah, no, there is a letter of no objection that was submitted with the application.
There is?
Yeah.
Because attached to it, I saw the word denial. I'll say is on hand. Okay. As Josephine spoke, from May 2021 through March 2022, there were 5 complaints regarding loud music and noise disruptions where the police responded. 3 out of the 5 times, the police remedied the situation. With that, the neighbors also claimed that because of the establishment's late hours, the patrons, leaving your establishment make noise, congregate in the neighborhood, disrupting their quality of life. They have witnessed, they're saying your patrons coming out of your establishment, resting on their stoops. Also, many times they're saying they're smoking pot, marijuana. And one of the things that I know the board is going to question you on, and I can guarantee this, are your hours of operation. You have Sunday through Thursday, 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. Friday and Saturday, 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. with the outdoor space closing at 12 a.m. And I'm going to tell you, and the board, I'm going to tell you now that the board is not happy with the establishment staying open to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, because that's when we get all of these complaints about the patrons leaving and lingering and congregating. So would you consider closing earlier?
Barbara, correct?
Yes.
Hi, David. We actually last call and we're closed up, lights on, disinfecting, cleaning. We're closed by 2:30 max. Yep.
Well, your application has, I believe, 4 o'clock, right, Josephine? I mean, I copied it, but that's what you have.
Right.
That's before COVID. We
Yes,
used to-
that was before.
but after
That's
that,
correct.
we started closing
That's
early.
why you needed to fill out the application appropriately. There was no real new application. What you needed to do for this. So I'm going to tell you
Okay.
that the board on Monday evening, and they're going to direct it to me, but then it's going to come back to you that they're going to want the hours of operation shortened.
Okay.
I'm going to guarantee that to you. There are several members of our board who are really annoyed with the quality of life with our residents being disturbed by restaurants. And it's not only you, it's staying open till 4 a.m. and 3 a.m. Okay. Anything else from our board members?
Ruth has her hand raised.
Hi, Ruth.
Hi, yeah, so I just want to clarify, is this primarily a restaurant? Or is this a bar?
Restaurant and bar. It's a bar. It's a bar. It's a bar. I'm sorry.
So how does the application read? It reads that it's a bar?
Yeah, so
Bar
that,
tavern.
right, so the notification to the board and prior is the method of operation as a restaurant.
But there is a partner that says bar tavern. You saw that, right, Josephine?
Well, I'm looking
I
at
had
the,
basically nothing to go by.
no, what's checked off is extent of full food service is full food menu. Type of establishment, restaurant, full kitchen and full menu.
Now, I will show you where it says bar tavern. So, I haven't been there. So I can.
Oh, wait,
change
wait,
it
I'm
as a
sorry. I'm
restaurant?
sorry. Wait. I'm looking at an old one. Hold on. Let
It's
me get.
checked off and also
Oh,
it's written in.
Hold on. I got the wrong, I'm sorry.
It's
My
written
mistake.
in restaurant, bar, and hookah.
Does not say hookah at all. Nothing on there says hookah. The only way I was able to see that is by the prior stipulations.
The application that I sent in that you guys received, that was received by the community board.
There was only a 30-day notice in the file that I received. Very short, like 2 pages. That was it.
Well, that's the 30-day notice, yeah.
Right, the application was not complete. The one that we had in the file was
Yeah,
from.
I'm sorry. I have it here in front of me. It's checked
Oh,
off.
thank you, Josephine.
It says bar, tavern, restaurant, full food menu. So, extent of food service, full food menu.
But there is a part in there that said bar tavern, but nothing in there says hookah.
No, there's no
written
hookah
in.
here. There's no hookah here.
So, and I didn't remember seeing it on any prior application, Josephine.
Well, look, the initial application had, hookah as part of, as part of it. At that time,
Yes.
there was no, the
Requirement.
change in the city law to the Indoor Clean Air Act was not done until 2 years after the initial application. So the reason why we're calling Red Oak in on the renewal is because of the community complaints.
Yeah, so hi guys. I was chair at the times of the police and public safety. So that, Barbara, it was like before, remember we had all the hookah establishments and then we got the change. Yeah, we got the change to include hookah in the Clean Air Act. At that point, legislation went into effect with more restrictions for the establishment of a hookah bar, as Josephine mentioned. And they had to, it's more than just the percentage of the restaurant. It was a whole bunch of other things, like they have to have proper handling of the coals and a lot of other things. And I do remember you guys coming in and doing that. So at that time, I think that was taken care of. I don't know where that bears out in the documentation that would be in the file that ends up going to you years later. Because I don't really think after that, because the law had changed, that we have a checkbox for you on that, Barbara, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but that was just that's like a historical, snafu there in our paperwork.
Well, but because the laws changed, you're not going to go back to old files and change things later on. The only way I knew that was by looking at the prior stipulations.
Yep.
All right. So Josephine, what are you going to ask of them for the that they're bringing to you this week, or faxing to you, or emailing?
Right, you can email me, Department of Health, and this has to be amended as part of your method of operation. Hookah now has to be included if it's part of the method of operation.
Okay, and I'll send you the license this evening. I'll take a picture and email it to you.
Okay.
And an amended 30-day notice.
Amended to include hookah?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any more questions from the board members?
Barbara,
Yeah.
the noise complaints, is that due to music in the establishment?
No,
Yes.
well, it does say music, but I think about some of the complaints are really the disruption. There were 5 complaints within a year, which is not terrible for a restaurant, loud music or noise disruption, because it says loud music, noise. That's one thing. It doesn't delineate whether it's music or noise.
Right. Lori?
Okay, so you guys know me not only from being police and public safety chair when you came on board, but I live around the block. So
You live
see me
around the
walking
corner,
my
I park
dog, you
right
see
in
me
front of
up
you
on
all
the
the time.
corner. Yeah, I'm all over the place. I see you too. So, I mean, I can speak to my experiences with you guys. You've been there for a number of years, and at the beginning we had there was a little tweaks to be made and whatever, and then you're like really quiet for a long time, and I don't know how many years that went on for. But pandemic and post-pandemic, something changed about your business, I'd have to say. There are a lot of people out front hanging out on the sidewalk, talking, smoking cigarettes, whatever, but it just sort of adds to the noise level sometimes, facing Third Avenue. I'll tell you, I don't experience that personally unless I happen to be out, walking by. They come around the corner a lot onto 83rd Street, sort of on the side of the dentist office over there, and hang out and smoke cigarettes. You kind of get a big group moving around the corner and hanging out there. And there's been some noisy patrons, let's say, leaving the establishment. Sometimes, when they're, if they're coming in and going, mostly going, they get a little loud. There was one really interesting night when a bunch of people decided to come out of your place, get in their car, and then have an impromptu street dance party that involved a lot of loud music and twerking, and it went on for a little while. And it was interesting. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So, I mean, the only I've had, there were a couple nights when you had some really noisy things going on. I know that some neighbors basically just called, up your number, found it online directly, and just, yelled at whoever answered the phone, can you shut down the music? And it kind of went down. So we appreciate that responsiveness. But that's not all the time. There's, if you could please remind your patrons, when they're leaving, that they are leaving into a residential neighborhood, and maybe just to kind of keep that in mind as they're departing.
Lori, this is what the board is going to say. Because the establishment closes so late, okay, there's less traffic, the voices carry more.
Yeah, it could be. I'm only here, listen, I'm only here to state, my personal observations about what I've seen, so that I can speak to, maybe, you were saying there were noise, and there were, I think Sandy had asked about what types of noise. So that's basically, I can only speak to my experience. That's my experience with it. So, I do know a couple of my neighbors at times have had some problems, and it may be the late night, Barbara, but, bless my heart, I'm a pretty good sleeper. And I'm not up that late most of the time. So, I'm going to rely on the complaints that have been made by the residents, because if they're being bothered, then, I'm not here to chime in on that, because I can't really speak to it. But yeah, there's been I feel, there's a little bit of a palpable difference post-pandemic. Now, I don't know what the reason for that is. Maybe you do, but I don't.
Yes. We've hired a host/hostess, so we're able to control the crowd better. Our patrons coming in, as they're leaving, they're not trickling outside, waiting for anybody outside, smoking a cigarette, hanging out. So groups come in, they all leave together.
And we ask them to leave and go to
Yeah.
their cars.
Yeah, and we ask them to please, leave immediately, go to your cars. Nobody hangs out, like you said, around the corner or smoking a cigarette. They all kindly wait for each other, they pay, and they all leave together. So they don't tend to hang out or go around the corner, close anywhere or anything like that.
But that's totally opposite of what the neighbors are saying. The people are leaving and they're walking out in groups, and they're, stopping in front of houses, probably sitting on the stoops, and they say they're smoking pot. But that's just totally opposite. Yeah.
I have no control. I don't know who goes out.
No, I'm not, I know that, we always have that issue, and Barbara, and Barbara tells people, look, we know you don't control the world, but, you can, make efforts, and we have had people, we've asked them to say, hey, when your patrons are leaving, guys, please don't hang out.
Exactly.
Be respectful, whatever. That's something you can do, but they do go around the corner and hang out.
even if they're waiting online to get in, sometimes we ask them to leave their phone number so they don't hang out there as
Yes.
much. They go away, go do some shopping or whatever in the area, and then we call them when the table is ready to avoid that concentration.
Yeah, the
of
car
people.
outside is in their car. And, yep.
You know, and I understand this, you're waiting online and people automatically start lighting up their cigarettes too, you know, and for people who don't smoke, and even people, you have many smokers, even if it's just, you know, Marlboro Silver Short, you know, you know, people are going to complain about that. And that's what one of the things we're going to ask you to monitor is, you know,
Yes.
of course, people go out of these, you know, I've done it. You're waiting for dessert, you go out with a friend to have a cigarette, you come back in. But if you have many people doing this, it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
It becomes a problem. So.
Okay,
right,
Barbara, thank you.
Anybody else from the board with anything to say? I thought that was a hand raise, Sandy. You tricked me, you faked me out. Jill?
I just think in residential neighborhoods like ours, because we have to care about the people who live upstairs and across the street. I just think 3, 4 a.m. is too late. And I think the more people drink and the more people get drunk and the more people leave, you know, a little bit drunk and they're not really in their own minds and they're like, you know, doing what they do on people's stoops and people want to sleep. So I think it's a problem. I think 2 a.m. is sufficient in our neighborhood.
If you were to change this at 2 o'clock right now, I'm going to tell you that the general board meetings will go much easier for you. So what do you say?
2:30?
2:30? By the time
we clean up, lights on, clean up,
close
disinfect,
everything.
yeah?
Well, if you get the people out at 2 o'clock, you know, I don't care if you are.
Yes.
washing the
Oh,
dishes.
that's high five, deal. Shake.
Okay, so I'm going to change that in the stipulations. And you're going to amend the application, Josephine, with them?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yep, they're gonna amend it. They said they would send it to me.
Because trust me, I have done this before, and 3, 4 o'clock does not go well with this community. Okay, all right. So seeing no more discussion, I believe I'm correct. Is that, Chris, you have a hand raise? No? Okay, good. The premise will operate as a restaurant and a hookah lounge, and the hookah DOH permit will be submitted to CB10. Josephine, does that sound good to you?
Yep, that's
okay. Right now, you still have a license, or is there a lapse?
No, we're still licensed until
May 31st.
Until when?
May
May 31st.
Okay, so there'll be no sale or consumption of alcohol on the premise until appropriate authorization is issued by the SLA. If there is a pause, I'm gonna use the word pause. Lori, is that a good word? Lapse, pause? No?
Yeah, I like laps. I thought that the first time around was better.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna do the word lapse.
I think you got it right the first time. As you do.
One to use. You're my attorney. Okay. The hours of operation will be Sunday through Thursday, 3 p.m. to 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday from 3 p.m. to 2 a.m. Outdoor space will only be used until 2 a.m. What did I write down? No. Owners will monitor congregating outside of restaurant of the establishment, okay?
Yes.
Okay, there will be only background recorded music. The sound indoors, of course, the sound level will remain below the level permitted by New York City Noise Code. Doors and windows are to remain closed in coordination with any amplified music. There will be no speakers or music on the outside of the premise. The licensee shall not use any promoter or have promoted events. There will be no smoking permitted outside the premise, and smoke eaters will continue to alleviate smoke emanating from hookah use as agreed to on prior stipulation agreements. There will be at least a 20% visible view at eye level into the establishment. We could see in, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the applicant agrees that should it change its method of operation, it will give notice and meet with the community board at least 45 days in advance of any such change. What does the board think of those stipulations? Hearing no dissent. You are owners, do you agree to those stipulations?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Josephine and Lori.
can I have that as a form of a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the stipulations as presented.
Okay, Chris, you second that? Okay, thank you. The vote is up for board members.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, take.
Thank you.
Have a great, Josephine, can I call you tomorrow?
Yep, no problem. I'm here. I go home a little bit, but then I'm back. No worries. I'll see you tomorrow. Very good.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Thank you
too
so
now.
much.
Yeah. All right, Josephine, did Spice Echelon come in?
Nope.
All right, so what does the board want to do with this?
I'll make a motion to deny the application until they come to the board.
What does
Okay,
that do? Let me just ask a question, Josephine. What does that do? Do they apply anyway behind without us?
yeah, they can, and then we send the SLA out letter that we recommended denial until such time they came. And then what happens with that is it produces on a new application, a full board meeting, means that they will be delayed in their application because it will go to the full board.
All right, so it's denied for no show. Now, did you tell me that they were bringing their own booze? Send that to me?
Yes, I think this was the one. Yes.
Yes, yes.
And
it
we
says.
called them and told them to stop BYOB.
The police officer still there? Can we send him to this establishment also?
Yep.
Yes, I'm still here. I'm not sure if you could hear me well or if there's something wrong with the
Who's
mic.
speaking in the background?
That's Officer Gandor. He's here.
Oh, there you are. I
Sorry,
can't
my-
hear you.
my-
What- I
I'm
can't
right
hear
here.
you. Hi.
Sorry, I think my mic is terrible. I
Yeah,
apologize.
I am. Unless it's under your coat or something.
No,
I'm
no.
speaking to the camera, so that's probably not the best.
That's okay.
All right, so this last location, I have the address. So you guys are saying that they're serving alcohol in there?
Yes, they have a sign, they had a sign. I don't know if it's still a BYOB.
All right, okay, we'll definitely pay him a visit and we're gonna probably start a referral with the SLA as well.
Right, so that is Spicy at, what is that, 7026 Third Avenue, Josephine?
Yes. it's, right on the corner.
And also, don't forget that it's also Bocce,
Yes, Bocce as well, yes.
84 Third Avenue, 84.
We're definitely gonna follow. I wasn't aware that their SLA license, I guess, lapsed or expired, whatever it is.
It
So we're
expired
definitely gonna pay him. a visit.
April 11th, it expired. And I was
Absolutely.
there on Sunday. I could have just
Okay.
taken a drink and ran out.
Definitely take care of that as well.
Okay.
Evidence. It's evidence. Yes.
I know I did take a picture, but I got nervous. I don't know why. So it was blurry. And then I didn't want the patrons feeling upset with me taking pictures for them, like, hi, could you help with the class?
Oh, Barbara, call me. I'll come with you. I'll take pictures.
Definitely those two establishments will pay him a visit.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
That concludes our agenda.
Good night.
Ruth has
Motion
got
to
a question. Ruth has got a question.
Motion to adjourn.
Wait, no, Ruth has a question.
Sorry.
I'm making a request. Could the board stay on for one moment after the meeting is officially over?
The meeting is officially over.
Oh, you mean no YouTube, just to chat? Like,
Yes.
no official business. Oh, okay.
We're still live.
All right, so I'm gonna disconnect the live.
Okay, well, we need a motion.
Oh, we need a motion.
Andy, motion to adjourn.
Motion done.
I think everybody's in favor.
Okay, it still says live.